Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody. Good morning, Farah. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Thanks for this invitation.
I'm really happy. I'm sure we're all gonna benefit from
Yes, sure, of course.
صباح الخير.
صباح النور. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes. Can.
Buongiorno.
How are you?
I'm very well indeed. What about you, Farah?
Doing well.
Excellent. How are you coping with?
I remember to send the link to everyone except you.
As always, you know, things happen always at last minute, but we're always prepared for it.
Sure.
You tell me if you're waiting for other students.
We're gonna give them a bit of 5 minutes. We make sure everyone signs in, and then we can get started.
Sure.
I have been getting requests since yesterday from everyone. Please record it. I have an exam and I can't catch it. Please make sure it's recorded. That's why the meeting is getting recorded. So if any student can't make it, they won't miss the chance to meet you.
Very good idea. And again, Farah, if there is additional topics or questions that the student might have in the next coming days, I will be delighted to answer that in a different form, maybe through emails or another call. You know, I'm here to support and to share anything they need.
Sure, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
That's very kind of you. I want to make you the host as well. I made you the host so you can share your screen if you want.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So today we have with us students from architecture, interior design, and graphic design.
Mainly it's architecture and interior design, but the link has been sent to all students.
Okay.
But you have senior students from the interior design department.
Gotcha.
Yes. And of course, we have two faculty members as well, Miss Aya from the Interior and Architecture Design Department, and Miss Arij, as well as Miss Jinan. The three of them are.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, Miss
Matteo.
Aya.
How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you. Good morning,
It's
Mr.
really
Rich.
nice opportunity to have you today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We are lucky there was problems with Zoom a couple of days back. I was so worried that we were going to face any problems. But thank God it's working.
Excellent. But there's always alternative and options.
Yeah.
And solutions. We actually use Microsoft Teams within our company. This is how we communicate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shifted to Google Meet. Once we encountered the problem, we directly shifted to Google Meet. Matthew, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Mona. She's SCD's Dean. Dr. Mona.
Hello. Good morning, Dr. Mona.
Good morning. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for agreeing to do the talk.
Thank you for having me.
Ms. Farah has been raving about you for the last couple of weeks.
Thank you. That's very kind of her. I appreciate it. We have a very, very interactive and passionate conversation about this topic. So I'm sure that we both share the same passion for what we do, and you know, and that's why possibly we engage pretty well as well.
Thank you so much for agreeing to give us your time today and give us I'm sure, a fruitful talk. Just give us 1 more minute. Our students are still joining because our class starts at 10:30, and then we can go ahead and get started.
Take your time. So these are all students getting ready for a master degree, if I'm correct.
Bachelor.
Bachelor degree, yes.
Bachelor degree of interior design, architecture. We also have even some fine artists among us who are interested in the design talk as well.
Excellent.
And some of our board of trustees members are also joining us. They were interested to join and to hear what you have to say, as well as faculty members. We have our board of trustees is comprised of different practitioners and academicians from different higher education institutions, and as well as academic practitioners from the market. So we have photographers, architects, fashion designers. They're also joining us today.
Amazing. It feels like a job interview.
We're ready when you are. We're ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I'm ready. Sure. Farah, would you like to do some introduction, or would you like me to go? It's up to you.
I can give a brief introduction, but I'm sure you can give a detailed one better than me. So we're very happy to have Mr. Matthew with us. He's from Majid Futtaim Enterprises, and he's currently working as the director of the Creative and Visual Department. They have recently made a project called a concept store entitled That. He will take us on a tour with further details of how to create a retail design store, starting off from creating the concept all the way until the further details. I'll just give you a timeline on how this talk will be provided. Mr. Matthew will start off first by introducing himself, and then he will start off by the talk. You have, of course, the freedom to write any questions you have in the chat box, and we will allocate 20 minutes in the end of the talk for him to answer all your questions. So feel free to type anything you have in the chat box. And unfortunately, let's say if we don't have enough time, Mr. Matthew will answer more of your questions through emails. So now the floor is yours, Matthew, and thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matteo Magnanini. I'm 46 years old, Italian, and from Venice. I want to specify my city. Where I was born is Venice, which I always so pleased to emphasize, because it was an amazing city to be born and to be educated. I'm not going to dwell in on the history of Venice itself, but it's an amazing platform where I was initially inspired as a child for anything related to art and architecture and culture. We have such a blend of cultural elements that happen in Venice during our histories of the past 600 years, 700 years. So I like to call myself a Venetian rather than an Italian, because the history of Venice is much older than the history of Venice. And we had so much influence on architecture and design, from the Renaissance to the Gothic to the Romantic. If you have an opportunity in the future, of any one of you have been to Venice before, they will know that Venice feels like an open museum, because anywhere you walk, there is something that will drag your attention, details in terms of design, lighting, and architecture. We have great artists that start their life in Venice, and so many that came to Venice to perfect their arts as well, to learn about the color in photography, in painting, and so forth. So I'm honored to say that I'm from Venice, and it's been my school for the first 20 years of my life. Why 20 years of my life? Because at the age of 21, I decided to proceed a career in retail. So at the age of 21, I've moved to UK, in particular to London, where I started to work as a visual merchandiser for an Italian brand called United Color of Benetton. After a year of working for this such as established brand across the world, because it has stores all over the world, I see an opportunity to develop my craft and work for, enter the world of luxury brands. I thought my appetite was more on craftsmanship and quality. So I had the opportunity to move first to Armani, where I spent a year working with this brand. And eventually I landed, I was obviously headhunted to work for a more prestigious company called Versace. In Versace, I find my perfect fit, because it was a truly creative experience with a brand led by one of the most renowned and famous creative designer, like Gianni Versace was, where his house, his couture, his design, his storytelling was second to none, where he blended music and art and theater to all the work that he translate into his garment. So my natural passion of music, art, and design really merge or married with a brand like Gianni Versace. In Gianni Versace, my role was more on working with the setup of the stores, so the execution of what was actually defined and decided behind the scene by a design team. And I was taking part on activities such as events or installations of galleries and exhibitions within a museum as well. A brand as Versace was really sought after. So I was invited to display the products in different places, and such a museum as well. So I had an opportunity to work also with Victoria and Albert Museum in London, and to organize and set up the retrospective of Gianni Versace in London back in the early 2003. So again, the passion led me to seek more of what I can contribute with my background and my experience into art and design. So, when you follow a lead, when you follow your passion, it can only lead you to something that eventually will come to your way to do exactly what you want to do in life. This is my belief. And I said to Farah in a previous conversation, we need to be guided by passion, by what we love. And eventually we will end up doing what we love. So if our passion is design today, is architecture or interior design, we just need to live that passion, to nurture that passion, because eventually when we actually gonna end up doing it, we're gonna only be successful because we do something that we love. We're gonna master it. We're gonna develop our skills, and we will be an expert on it. And when you become an expert on it, it will only attract the audience, and they come after you to get your knowledge. So my first message to you all students is really go after your passion, because it will take time, but eventually it will land it wherever you want to be. And that's what happened to me. By all means, please bear with me that I don't have a full academic background. I'm not a university graduate. My university was the stores. My university was the streets. My university was the people that I've been interacting with, and the experience that I gathered through hard working and collaborating in different places around the world with different people. So my 20+ year knowledge in retail design and luxury retail design came from, at the base of it, came from passion, because passion takes you everywhere to meet you the right people, to be in the right place, and to do the right thing. So eventually back in 2005, I was headhunted while I was in London by Altair Group. Altair Group is one of the leaders of luxury retail in the Middle East, with more than 100 monobrand stores under its belt, and two of the leading international department stores brands known as Harvey Nichols and Bloomingdale's. So how Altair was the first one to open an international store for Bloomingdale's here in Dubai. It was the first one outside the US. And for Harvey Nichols was the third one international after Turkey and after Hong Kong. My role when I was actually recruited was to take care again of the visual presentation, of the look and feel of the stores, of the customer experience in terms of visual representation and ID of the store. Again, through passion and motivation and skills that you keep on developing, and also taking courses as well, because you do need to have the academic background as well to cover the scientific part of the role, because numbers are important in anything we do in life. So also I took a course in St. Martin's in London for interior design and retail as well, because I was really after the technical aspect of it, not the creative part of it. So eventually I became head of creative within Altair Group. And I started taking care of the development of our own brands. And when I say development was now, so I was going behind the scene. I was working with designers and architects to brainstorm and provide inputs. Since obviously the business back then thought that my direction were pretty successful, and whatever was translated in stores was received pretty well from the audience. And from our customers in particular. So I was asked to take care of the design aspect of Altair business as well. So I create our in-house creative agencies. So I try to merge all the different aspects of creative within the business. So store design, visual merchandising, and creative marketing also came under my control, my direction. And to me, that was very essential to unify the language, because anything that it becomes visible to a customer, being a offline or online, needs to have a cohesive approach and a holistic message. That is really important to consider that whatever you're in architecture, interior design, or graphic or marketing, whatever you do for the brand that you're working for, the message needs to be clear throughout all the touch points. You cannot have a store that look like a contemporary industrial with polka dots all over the place, where your marketing communications or your visual graphic design talks about more of Renaissance and more of heritage. There must be a link across all the touch points and communications, specifically when you communicate through design and a creative media form. So that was very, very successful back then, because again, we created this 360 approach, and I was delighted to see translate successful in our business. Where was my interaction in terms of design? When actually we decided to expand Harvey Nichols, Bloomingdale's in the region, we opened in Kuwait, and we had the 2 stores in Dubai. I started to basically work on the DNA of the brand and the development. Design cannot happen just for the sake of it. A story needs to be told, and a story needs to be created first of all. So a key stakeholder needs to sit together and define what the brand is going to be, because design is just a translation of a vision. And if as a designer, and all of us as a designer, we must ensure that the DNA is clearly understood. We should never engage in a design unless we understand the brief from the client. It's really important that the first conversation that we had, or we have, no matter who our client is well understood. A lot of questions needs to be asked. Hand holding needs to happen, because a lot of people, a lot of clients, they might have a vision, they might know what I like, they might have high disposable income or cash to invest on a project, but they're not creative. They don't know how to translate the message. They don't know what they want from their brand. They might want to be the most successful bakery in town. They know because they love bread. It doesn't mean they know how to sell it or how they can look like. Our job as a designer, it's very, very important. We are not just designer. We need to become psychologists at the same time. You need to understand the client in and out. You need to guide his or her insecurity and translate it into emotions. Emotion is the key. Emotion is what make or break a business. Emotion that you trigger not only on the client, but also on the customers that he's trying to sell his dream. So that's where I started with. And that is part of the journey of a creative director or a creative person or a designer, is to meet the client, understand fully the brief, work by side with the clients, meaning the first step after you understand the brief is to translate it into a mood board, create a story, storytelling, storyboards, put some boards together. Now, there are people that do storytelling or mood boards through a digital touch points. Nowadays, new generations like Gen Z or even millennials tend to work more into a digital presentation. Call me old style, but I believe that touching the emotion of a person is to lead them through clear images. So my recommendation will always be, never do your first meeting with your client when you actually need to present a story through a screen. Meet them in their offices, meet them in their houses, spend time with them, prepare boards, put materials together, show them your vision, present them, take pause and time, listen to their feedback. And remember, you might have a strong vision, you might have a stronger belief of what you do, it's right, but at the end of the day, it's the client's decisions how to proceed. We need to learn how to take feedback on board. Now, my recommendation is when you go through a story presentation with mood boards is don't give too many options. You may ask, why don't give it too many options? Because then you're going to lose your clients. You're going to lose your clients in too many ideas. And also, they may think that you're not very confident of what you're presenting. They may think, oh, he's trying to feed me with so many things or information. He might not be confident. He might be not an expert. Our role, we're like doctors. We have the cure. There's no alternative. This is what is right to fulfill your vision and to fulfill your dream. So make sure you have a proper storytelling. Make sure you have facts and knowledge of what you're presenting. And what you present, what is based on your presentation, it's not just about what you like. What you like is irrelevant at this stage. It's what is right for your client. And it's what is right for the audience that you want to entertain in the future. What Matteo likes today is different from what Farah likes. Okay, or what Arij or Janan. Oh yeah, it's not about individual at this stage. Unless you are Zaha Hadid, you know, and people like your style and they're gonna come after your style. When you start humble. Present your vision, but try to fulfill your client requests and direction. So that's the first step. Prepare mood boards. Make sure you have fact and good knowledge of what you presented. This is paramount. It's not I think or I like. With what you think, again, is irrelevant. It's what is right for your client. So please mark these 2 points. Is always in anything you do. If you work for a private client in residential, if you work for a commercial brand or a retailer, you need to have these 2 as your KPI. What is right for your customer or the brand that you're designing for, and what is right for the audience. Okay? And then for the market that you're in. But again, the market comes as third, because if you want like Harvey Nichols in Oman, you don't want Harvey Nichols to look like an Omani boutique. You want Harvey Nichols because you want the piece of London in Oman, not an Omani stores, right? So make sure that you always represent the DNA of the brand or the company you're gonna work for. So what happened next? Once you got your mood board presented, so you're gonna hear feedback, you're gonna tweak it, you're gonna agree on the direction, so you understand the theme you're gonna translate the concept into, and that's where the fun part starts. You will engage with your designer. If you're a creative director like I am, I will need the support of a designer. But if you're a designer yourself, you will then need to start research and designing part of it yourself. Again, it's not a one man or one woman show. The successful of a business or a creative concept is down to collaborations. You must have different skill set and different designer on board, or different people to support you on such a project. You must have graphic designer that can support you on 2Ds or 3Ds elements. You're gonna have CAD designer as well that's gonna give you accurate technical drawings of what you want to translate. And you're gonna have either it's yourself or somebody else that helps you to collect all the right materials and furniture that you would like to see within the concept. So when you're actually done with your mood board and that is approved, you need to start first a research of materials that translate with your creative direction with your mood boards. And when I say material, it's anything to do with flooring, how the flooring is going to look like. Is a plain flooring, is a concrete, modern, industrial, is a tile flooring, is a terrazzo flooring, you name it. There's many alternatives. So you must go back, hopefully, to the client with a second direction, with a second meeting, with a second presentation, where you have materials of how the flooring is going to look like, what is the fixtures or the furniture, or if you're talking about residential or retail, you know, what is going to be the art decorations, the decorative items that you need to introduce within the space, the lighting, what is going to be the lighting level, because the lighting level is very important. There is the ambience lighting, and there is the decorative lighting. And then again, you need to be able to know what type of lighting you need. Light is the key as well for what you do. And normally I consider it the signature at the end of it, because the light will put on display your work. So the light needs to be accurate. So there is a lux level that you need to calculate and get it right within the ambience that you're creating. Residential and retail have different light temperature or lux level, but this is details that you will need to discover and explore further down. So that's why when you do then engage with the material, you also start to engage with a block plan or a flow plan. What is a block plan or a flow plan? A block plan is when you actually get in a space. Now I'm giving an example of a retail design, and this is the step that I always work as a first step. And if, as a matter of fact, and now I have a new project, and I can show you what is a block plan. But basically, you get the design of a location. So again, I'll take a retail as a first direction. But again, if you want more also on residential, it can apply, and I can give you detail on that. But I give an example on retail. So you get a flow plan, which is a space that's been given to you, let's say by the mall. Mall will give you a location. You got measurement and you got a CAD layout. On that layout, I start working based on the brand requirements, on the categories that I need to introduce. Do I need to put ready to wear? Do I need to put accessories? Do I need to put beauty? Do I need to put a coffee shop in there? Do I need to put art and culture space? This is how you start planning. When I know what are the categories that I need to introduce, I start plotting in the space. Okay, that is my first thing. So I try to put the first piece of the puzzle inside, create bubbles, and then start working on a circulations to ensure that I have visibilities on all these categories that have the right journey within the store. Once that is done, and that is approved by the stakeholder, by the head of the business, and we agree on the categories and the flow of the categories within the space, we then start working on the concept itself. How ready to wear is going to look like, how beauty is going to look like, how the different departments going to look like, and how I'm going to do that. First, I'm going to start with the shell and core. What is the shell and core? Shell and core is flooring, walls, and ceiling. That is the shell and core of the store. Now, the shell and core can be handed over to you completely empty. So just brick walls and a screed with no MEPs. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with MEPs. MEPs are the mechanical and electrical and the plumbing details that needs to be included in a store. It's not just the beautiful elements of the fixtures that you need to consider. You need to consider also the ACs, the electrical, the data, and power sockets, anything that goes into a store to function, the IT requirements and all that. So that's why when you the next step after you're done the block planning, you need to go into a flow planning and detailed design. And detailed design is divided into, you have a flooring, the floor design, the floor plan, where then you also you start to include furniture and fixtures, and then you have the power and data plan that you need to design, which eventually will become a layer. When you're designing CAD, it becomes a layer or your flow plan, so you can actually clear different layers. And then you have the RCP, which is the reflective ceiling plan. The RCP is important because it needs to combine what goes up on the ceiling to what is down. RCP included lighting. Okay, so you know exactly where the lighting is going to be installed thanks to your design, and also where your AC ducts, where your sprinklers, where your cameras, where your speakers, because the sound is important as well. So all the elements that go in the ceiling, they don't go up randomly. They go up through an RCP plan, which is, as I said, reflective ceiling plan. That you've done it after that you have completed the flow plan, where you've done all the zoning, where you know where your furnitures are, where you know where your fixtures are, where the merchandising is, so you know exactly where the lighting is going to be, and where the journey for the customer is. So when you figure that out with technical drawing, you can start working on mock-ups or renders. Mock-ups are really important because gives clearly the picture of what you're designing to the client. The better the render is, the better the outcome is. My suggestion is, before you go into renders, that takes a lot of time and can be costly as well, because a render of let's say an area of around 100, 200 square meters can cost from $300 to $500. Let me put it that way, so I don't talk in dirhams. So renders are very expensive. It takes time to execute. A render can take hours, 10 to 12 hours, because you possibly know already, but when a designer starts to render an image, it needs to leave the image to render itself overnight, or during the day for a certain amount of hours, and it's time consuming. So when the client asks you, oh, can you just change the color of the table, or can you do this and that, you don't want to do that through renders, because you end up doing a lot of renders, a lot of changes that the clients do not want to entertain in terms of cost. And you don't want to say to the client, oh, but you know what, if I need to do new renders, you need to pay X amount of money. You don't want to talk about money when you talk about design. So when you actually go into the detailed design, detailed drawing, elevations, and mock-ups, you're done talking about money. Money is the first part of the project, when you tell the client how long the project is going to take place, how many renders you will be supplying it with, and how many meetings you're going to have to take them through the design. Once you are through the design, you're selling the boat. There's no way back. You need to land that boat into the new land and the new harbor. There's no way that you're going to stop negotiating fees or all that. So why am I saying that? There are better tools today that allows you to present your vision, your design, without go back and forth with a render. One of it, and this is one I'm using, is Sketchup. Sketchup is a good way to draw and present to a client. It's not a render tool, it's a CAD tool that allows you to show the project in 360. It shows you elevation. You can add colors and layers. And the beauty of it, and I know there are other software available, but I like the beauty of SketchUp is because you can take the customer through the store, you can control it, and you can rotate and navigate 360. So once the customer sees that, you have 90% of his approval. Or if he's not approving and you want to change something, it's quick to do it through SketchUp. And once you've done all that, and the client is happy with it, then you go into full renders. Then the full renders, once they're produced, they look like photographic render, they look like the real shop. You can present it to the wider team, to the wider board, you can present it to the client himself, and normally clients get that to sell it to his key partners. Because let's say as at the department stores has multiple brands inside. So if the head of the business or department stores want to attract brands like the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton, the Saint Laurent, you name it, they need beautiful renders of the store. So they can go to those partners and say, this is the store that I'm building. This is the look and feel. That's why I need you to be part of me, on my brands. And again, it's thanks to the beautiful renders that you sell that brand. That is your ID. That's your business card. So that's why the render must be beautiful and perfect. And I'm going to add something that Farah heard early from me. You need to remember you don't get a second chance to give a first impression, especially if you're not the one presenting it. So you must ensure that your work is executed to the best. You account for every single detail. Because again, when you're not there to present it and you're not in a room and the presentation normally done also through video calls, like today, through a pandemic timing, partners talk from different location through medias like Zoom. So your image, your work needs to be perfect, because you don't have the time to justify why things are done in a certain way. Remember, you don't get a second chance to give first impression. That's the reality. So that needs to be done beautifully. That it's your signature. That is your reputation as well. And once you've done that, and your renders are approved and the project can start, there's a new phase that as a designer, you might have finished, but there is another form of design that takes place. There is the construction drawing. What is a construction drawing? So once you're done the design, the shell and core, the renders, the furniture look and feel, somebody needs to design those elements that can be built. And that is a new part of the design, the construction drawing. The construction drawing are more technical and require people to work from offices, but also to go on site, to take proper measurement of the space and so forth. Along with that, there is the quantity surveyor job that starts in there as well, which is start to cost the project. Okay, we need to give a number to the project. How much is going to cost us? So you specify beautiful material, beautiful furniture, design furniture. You specify the best marble available from Carrara. You specify the best crystal from Swarovski or Murano glass or whatsoever. You come back with a cost for all the elements that you've specified. And you go to the client. The client has not released a budget to you initially, but it's now seeing the number. And you are exceeding that budget. The project is way too expensive. And you say, but hold on a second. I mean, the project is beautiful. You approved it. We should build it. It normally doesn't work like that. There's always a pushback. And even if they love the project, even if they love all the material they specify, they push back. They want to save at least 30, 40% of the initial cost. So what are you going to do? Are you going to modify your project? Are you going to change the design and the look and feel because the customer is not happy to pay the cost? Are you going to give up what you spent the past 3 months on and change completely the direction of your design? Not necessarily. This is where you start and you come back as a creative director or a designer to put your hands into the project again. And this is what we call it value engineering. What is value engineering? Value engineering is to find alternative options based on the design that you provide. Not changing the design, but change the approach to your design. Find a cost-effective way to produce what you presented and what you created. So, example, do I need to have the Murano glass chandeliers in there? I can still have chandeliers. I can still have them made in glass, but maybe I can find an alternative factory to do it for me. There is now, and again, if they hear me in Venice, that will shoot me because Murano is in Venice, and I will always promote Murano. But there is great company in East Europe now that work with glass, the glass blower, and they do magnificent work at a fraction of a cost. But then again, it's not Murano. But do we care that it's Murano or not? Will the customers check the label if the glass is from Murano or not? At the end, will they change the customer experience and the DNA of the store? Maybe not. That's what is relevant. If you still deliver the design intent, you're on the right track. You need to be able to compromise. You need to also put on your approach what is nice to have and what is a must-have. What you're willing to compromise for and what you're not willing to compromise for as a designer or as a creative director. Again, there's some not most of the time, few times where I was very stubborn based on my nature and my character and my background that no, I will not compromise. I will not change on that. But guess what? I'm not the client. So the client may say to me, Matteo, you can be as stubborn as you want, but I'm the client. I'm paying for this project. So I don't want Murano glass. I want Hungarian glass in there. It's his choice. I will deliver without compromising further. But again, the message and that I'm trying to translate is value in engineering is very important. You know, look at Farah's background. She's got upside down hearts. Are those Jeff Koons hearts, or are just inflatable balloons? She might have specified Jeff Koons, but you know, there is an alternative options that can be translated, give the same look and feel, but at a fraction of the cost. This is value in engineering, delivering as per design intent, but a fraction of a cost, without changing your design direction, that you're very passionate about it. Because in the future, you know, today you're gonna start as a designer helping a customer to do their villas or to do their local shop. But tomorrow you're a design firm, you're an architecture firm. Are you willing to change your style because the customer cannot afford? Will Zaha did change her design language or her studio because piece upon herself. I mean, she's no longer with us, but will a design studio change the direction because the customer can no longer afford? No, she will say, thank you very much. You can go and meet another designer. But until you're not there, you must work with hand on hand with a designer and trying to mitigate his request. And value engineering is the good way to do it. So once you bring the project into the cost and the client is happy and he signs off the project, you need to start mocking up the 3D of everything that you have designed. So you need to start having the sample from the factories that are producing for you. Obviously, you need to ensure that as a designer, again, you give the input of the company you want to work with. Never rely on third party to do the job for you. Anything that get produced must have your blessing. Remember, you're not just a designer, you're creative, you're a creative person, you're creating a brand. You must veto everything, you must sign off everything. There's not a single piece of wood or stone that comes into the store or into a house without your sign off. You need to sit a mock-up into the factory. In the factory, they are producing it. And again, you want, if you have already experience of different factories, so be it. If not, Go out in the market, visit factories that are specialized in the different elements that are part of the project, i.e. carpentry, woodwork, metal, acrylic, lighting, glass. Go and visit them. Create your backbone for the future. If you are going to be a freelance, make sure you create a portfolio with card rates of all the supply you're going to work with, and you select the best in terms of quality and the best in terms of cost. Once you have that and you start working with them, they will design a mock-up for you, they will build a mock-up for you. Go and inspect the mock-up. Reject it if you don't feel comfortable. Never, ever, over your dead body, negotiate on quality. Negotiate on time of execution. You can still go back to the client and say, it's going to take a week extra. You can go back and negotiate on cost and say, to deliver this is the money that we need to pay. Never negotiate on quality. It's giving away your soul. Never do that. You will be brought to a concept or to a project because of your skills, because of your experience, because of your talent, and because you're deliverable. So quality is paramount. It's your reputation. If you design and build something that is not perceived with good quality, you're done. Again, I go back to what I said earlier on. You don't get second chance to give first impression. First impression is first impression. If your work looks bad, you will have a bad reputation. So reject once, reject twice, reject 3 times the mock-up in the factory. At the end of the day, it's their problem. They cannot deliver, they're going to lose the job. You're going to go to another factory. They're going to do mock-ups over mock-up to make sure that you're happy. Once you got the mock-up and you're happy with, get it to the store. Get a sample of the flooring done in the store. Get a sample of the fixture delivered in the store. Get the lighting done in the store. Have a mini mock-up built in the factory. You know, when I design a store that is 120,000 square feet, which works around of being 12,000 square meters, 11, 15,000 sometimes square meters, it's a massive store. I don't want just a fixture built. I want a mini mock-up. And I'm going to make sure the factory knows when I start working with them that I want to have a mini mock-up in their factory that I can walk in and I feel, okay, I can see a small handbags department or a beauty department. Doesn't need to be huge. It could be 15, 20, 30 square meters, 50 square meters. You push. You're the client. Remember, you represent the client. You're the designer. You hold them in your hands. So ask what you need to make sure you're confident and comfortable with the deliverables. So you want to walk into space, you have the lighting there, you have the shelves in there, you have a mock-up, we have fake products. It can be, you know, the bags from the secretary and the shoes from the carpenter in there. Don't care where they get the product from, but they need to mock it up that it looks real. And again, never accept an answer from your contractor, your factories, your supplier, such as, oh, but don't worry, this is just a mock-up. The real one is going to be perfect. I go wild when they tell me things like that. My neck become like that, because a mock-up is what you sign off. A mock-up, even if it costs money to them to make it perfect, it's what you sign off. And you can tell them, look, if you're doing this showcase for me, or if you're doing this sofa or this table for me, and it costs you money to make it real and perfect, don't worry about it. I'm going to take it to the site after. I'm going to take it to the villa. I'm going to take it to the hotel. I'm going to take it to the store. But it has to be perfect, because that mock-up, I need to sign it off. And perhaps I need to take my CEO with me. I need to take somebody else to see the look and feel of the store. And that's what happened on big project. You take your client to see the mock-up. So it feels like you give it a glimpse of your project and he's getting delighted and excited about it. And guess what? When your client is excited about it, it's more relaxed, easy to work with. And if you ask If you ask an additional element or additional fund, is willing to give it to you because it's comfortable with the result. It sees what you are delivering. Okay, so never get, oh, don't worry about it. The one that's going to be delivered to the store, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be perfect. Where's my showcases for the jewelry? It's here. Okay, why there's no light in there? I don't know, the light in there, you know, we're going to add that later. No, the mock-up has to include all the finishes as it has to be delivered on the floor. And that's it. That is the process. Then when you start building it, you need to be on site as well. Because on site, anything can happen. I saw many things that happen that if you're not there to lead, it will not land as per your design. You need to check everything. The joints, the screen on the flooring, the grouting between the tiles, the color of the grouting, anything that you haven't covered through the design presentation on through the material sign off. There's always a new material that will appear per magic. You don't know how, because the contractor is trying to change some spec because it didn't tell you that the Marmorino tile wasn't available, so it got a different one that's more of a terrazzo. It's similar, but like the same, like the same this region. They say same, right? But it's different. It's not same. It's different. You can see, you can put it next to each other. Yeah, but same. No, it's not same. It doesn't exist. In our language, same, it doesn't exist. Okay, so make sure you're on site and you check exactly that everything is going as per your specification. And if you're not happy, do not compromise. If they said to you, yeah, you can close an eye, you know, you want to keep the program on track, you want to keep the project on track, something's got to give. But the something's going to give is going to come from you, not from the third party, from nobody else. You're in charge of the project. You decide what is going to give. And the best answer to that question is, can you sleep at night? Know that you give up something? If the answer is yes, fine. Can you walk outside that store, that villa, that hotel, that you know that you've done a great job and you keep your heads up and you're proud of what you've done? Then be satisfied with that. But if it's something that is give you itchy palms or bad thoughts, then do not compromise. Your reputation is at stake and the one of your clients. Never compromise on that. I think I cover everything that has to do with when idea is born to when idea is delivered. And again, last piece of it, even though you're done with the project and you move away, you still have that sentimental connection to it. It's like when you give birth to a child, you need to take care of it. You need to grow it. So go back to your project, even though you're done with it. Review it after 6 months. Take away some key learning. What would you have done differently now that 6 months has passed? What technology you have available, what material you have available that you will have done differently. Look at the wear and tear. Look how the store or the hotel, whatever you're designing, is transforming now that it's live. The wear and tear is very important. And again, keep that as a relationship with your client, because if a client knows that you keep on going back to your project and review it and give it feedback to the client and say, look, you know what? Now the project is a year old, we can introduce this layer. And again, don't just give options over the phone or, hey, you know what, I was in the store, you know, we can change it. Prepare the wild card. What's the wild card? Spend an hour, 2, 5 hours, 1 day, 1 week. Create something, a layer that can enhance what you've done 6 months ago. And just put it there like a wild card. Shoot it to your client and say, hey, I was thinking. That can be phase B. That can be you know, the next step, what do you think? If the client likes it, say, wow, yes, let's take it to the next level. So again, you not just deliver a project, you build a relationship and a momentum, so you can keep working on that. Okay. Shall I open to any question?
Yes, we'll open for many questions. It was really, really beneficial. I personally enjoyed it. And it's very ironic that you were talking about passion and the sign behind you directly is written the word passion.
Because this is one of our values and my value. You know, there's nothing in life will be done properly if it's not done with passion. And this is the first things that I said to you, Farah, when I met you. You might not be initially an expert on what you do, but passion will lead you to become an expert, because you will build the knowledge, it becomes a skill, you will become an expert. And this is what we're going to do for living. And again, passion, how do you know that you're passionate about something? Is when you wake up in the morning and you're excited to go and do what you really love.
Sure. And it's related to you being keen about every single detail because you love what you're doing.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take you on some of the questions we got. How do you come up with a design concept? I think you covered that, but if you want to add anything about it.
Yes, I want to add. That's a very good question. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, if the client doesn't know how to translate his vision, how do you come up with a concept? So first of all, it's important to understand the DNA of the client. And again, the nature of this business. It can be sportswear, it can be leisure, it can be whatever. But how can you come up with the right inspiration, with the right thing? Now, you are not a horse. Creative person, a designer is not a horse that wear blinkers. Creative person do not have blinkers, do not have restraint on any part of their body. Creativity is limitless. You get inspired by anyone, everything. From a child, from an elderly person, from a room where you're sitting on, from anything around you. Always remember that when you walk in the street, where you're going from your mom's or your parents' house to university or to the bakery, or whenever you're going, don't think about the end journey. Don't think about the destination. Think about the journey. Keep your eyes open. When you go from A to Z, there's so many letters between. So keep that in mind. Whenever you're walking, even if you're going from the bathroom to the kitchen, don't just think about the kitchen. Think about the corridor. Look at the lighting. Look at the shadows. Look at the pattern on the wall. That it's the message. It's the journey, not the final destination that matters. So this is how you get inspired. This is how you're gonna come up with ideas on when you want to design something. Look around you. The ideas are there to be grabbed. And remember always what is the DNA or what is the objective of the client, because then it will be much easier to translate that.
Yes.
Do I need to be faster on my answer so I can cover all? You tell me.
Some time.
Am I good with the timing? Doing well?
You're doing perfect with the timing. Don't worry.
Thanks.
We have another interesting one. How is the Middle East market different from the Western market?
I can sum it up with two words. The Middle East is picky, and they go after exclusivity. Exclusivity and personalization. You know, if we talk about product in general, it's my key words, because they don't want to look like everyone else. They don't want to have something that everyone else has. They don't want to be the second. They want to be the first. They want to have everything personalized, bespoke, unique, and that translate into the products, the accessories they wear. Women, for instance, with their shoes and their handbags, all the jewelry, and it goes into their house as well, because a lot of time is spent within their space. So they want their space to be unique to themselves. So the level of personalization is very, very important in this part of the world.
Can you give us an example of something unique that happened in a store or in a house that you've encountered? That's something they asked for to be specialized?
Well, product can be specialized in any ways. I'll give an example. We just opened that, which is a concept store here in Dubai, and I invite you to follow it on Instagram or to go online, that concept store, hashtag that concept store. That is the first concept store in the region. And it's not just a store, a boutique that sells products. It has a unique offering. We have products, experiences, and services under the same roof. We have art and culture space. We are galleries or spaces where we're gonna do talks. We have services such as we have a gym inside with high intensity and low intensity rooms for different type of classes. So you can come at 7 o'clock in the morning, hit the gym, spend an hour in the gym, have a beautiful treatment after, with beautiful spas in there, and then hit to the women's salon. We have a women's salon where you can do your hair, where you can do your facial treatment, massage, and all that. We have 3 F&B outlet, specialty coffee, Emirati specialty coffee, 1 fusion Japanese restaurant, and 1 international restaurant as well. We have a nail bar. We have a brow bar for ladies, express in and out. We have a barber shops. We have different categories of merchandise, and we have arts in there. So you can dwell and spend your time, your entire day in there while shopping, working, or having personalized treatment. So that is a bespoke and personalized service that is not available elsewhere. So we are first on bringing this into the region. So that's an example of giving a personalized service. But last but not least, I forgot to mention, we also have a personalized gift wrap service within the store, and engrave it, emboss it, and laser print and all that. So when I say personalized gift wrap, is you can buy product within our concept store or even from outside, and you can come and buy the service of gift wrap, where we gift wrap based on themes. So not the traditional paper ribbon, but let's say your brother is a lawyer, you want to give a present to your brother. We have a theme dedicated to lawyers, that the paper, it's an article of the law, that we have accessories, that there's a hammer that the judge used, that is like a bow that looks like bow that a judge will use upon his clothes. We have a nurse, a medical themes. We have sports themes. So your husband is a golfer, he likes golf. The packaging is going to be done for a golfer. So it's not just the gift, it's what is outside that enhance the experience. And also, as I said, we have a personalization, so space where you can bring your bag, your shoes, your shirt, whatever you want to personalize. Can be hand painted, can be printed, can be foiled, can be embossed or engraved. We can do that for you. So yes, you have an Hermes bag that's similar to your friend, but we can paint on it, and it's an artist's work, or we can put your initial or so forth. So that's the level of personalization. Personalized services to personalize your products and your experience.
Okay. What about the Western market?
The Western markets, they basically cater for a faster type of consumer. The Western market doesn't dwell as much as a Middle Eastern consumer. Visit New York, visit London, visit Paris, visit Milano. When a customer goes into a store, the time he spends inside the store, it's less than the time that a Middle Eastern customer spends inside the store. They like to dwell. They take their time. The pace is different. There's more curiosity, and they're more inquisitive. They don't like to interact as much, but they like to explore more. And if services as F&Bs and different experience are available, they spend more time in this place. In the Western markets, the concept stores do not offer an holistic approach like you see it with our concept store. Yes, they want to have their services, but not necessarily all the services under the same roof. They wouldn't come maybe to a concept store to go to the hair salon or to a barbershop. They wouldn't come, yes, they would like to have the product embossed or engraved. If you buy there, it's an additional service, which is quick. They will get it there. But they're much faster. They know exactly what I come to the store for, quick in and quick out.
Absolutely. I'm going to come for that just for the gift wrap. I love the gift wrap idea. I got totally
gift wrap.
Yes.
Fantastic. But I can also tell you that gift wrap is going to be available also online as well. So we can actually, so you can actually be delighted and offer that service online as well.
That's nice.
So when you cannot get to the product will get to you.
Nice.
That's how you enhance the service as well.
Okay. How does designing for upper end stores different from lower end stores?
Good question. So, look, I come from, as I said, more than 20 years experience in luxury retail. And when I moved to Majid Futtaim, that is actually, it's been a year and a half, I started to work with some lifestyle brands as well. So to cut a long story short is luxury brands do not compromise on anything.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot compromise. Attention to detail is a paramount. Quality is a paramount. You cannot get away with poor delivery. You must ensure that the quality of the material you selected and the way they are put together and installed is second to none. Check how Hermes, how Tiffany's, and Cartier. I just mentioned, just for me, the top three in terms of craftsmanship. Forêt Lapage is one of the oldest also leather goods manufacturing in France as well. They do amazing bags as well. Look at the histories of these brands. They used to do the luggage and the product for the army of the soldier during the French Revolution. So we're talking about 200 plus years old history of a brand. Yeah. The heritage, the history, the quality of the materials, and the finishing. That is the difference that you have from a luxury brand to a lifestyle brand.
Okay. How do we get more experience and follow our passion?
Great question. They're all great questions, by the way. How do we follow? How do we seek more experience and follow our passion? Passion, you follow it. Just go for it. You might find obstacles in your journey. You might find barriers. People that are trying to change your mind that says, no, we want you to be a doctor, We want you to be in finance. You know, that's the successful career. When you're a kid and you said to your parents you want to be an artist, they think you have a problem. Not every parent, and not my parents in particular, but you know, you see that, especially in certain culture, they a creative person, an artist. Are you crazy? You need to go study finance. You need to become an accountant in this and that. Believe in your passion. Your passion will lead you somewhere, but not just with a talk. Prove your friends, your family with facts. You have passion for something, show them that you also have the talent for it. So be persistent on your passion and explore it. I have a passion for ice cream. Great. What have you done with it? I will start doing some recipes. I will start see how refrigeration works. Are you seeing, exploring? Look, I just came out with ice cream. I don't know why, and I see something else related to ice cream. You're familiar with a brand called Cold Stone, right? They're using a slab where they play with the ice cream that is refrigerated. That's a great idea. So the person that came up with that idea is somebody passionate about ice cream. They said, how can I take it to the next level and also link good products with art and interaction that can engage with the customer? Okay, so that is the result. When you have passion for something, explore it, see what you can add to it. Okay, especially if it's a recipe that has already been done. What's your additional ingredients? What is your additional touch that can make the difference to that recipe? Or you can change the recipe completely. So follow your passion, push it. Don't get anyone to stop. But if you need to justify it, because you're not going to challenge your parents or fight with your parents. If your parents say, okay, they might be willing to support your passion, and I'm sure they will, if they prove them that you have a talent and you have skills and look, this is my passion, or this is what I can design. Show them what you're good at, and that will support your passion. And in terms of, sorry, what was the first part of the question? Before experience, just go out there in the markets, ask people to if you can help them, and sometimes don't just ask. Like I said earlier on the phase 2 of the project, when you redeliver the wild card, just walk into your friend's office and put on the desk and said, look, I heard that you've been working on that. I can contribute on your success on your project doing this. Wow, amazing. Add your flavor in there. And again, experience, you can gather it if you work on something. Go and ask people if you can do internship with them. Reach out to companies that you're inspired by and see if you can work for them. Or just start working by yourself. Just start, exploring things. If you can obviously leave your city or your computer, there's way to explore with the media that we have in front of us. It can take us everywhere. So research, build your knowledge through research.
Okay, that's an interesting one, Matteo. Where did it go? How do we get friends like you? So we have a friend request. And your experience in your way.
Look, I love what I do, not just in terms of design and creative direction, but talking to people, empowering people, and do coaching sessions as well. By all means, if Farah feels it's relevant, I can be available any given time to speak to you all, or to share my details. If you have any question related to any of these topics or any coaching that you might need, I'm a phone call away. If that helped to enhance your experience and make you a better person or better designer, I'm here for that.
Thank you. We're going to work on that.
Excellent.
How do you go about hiring new designers? What do you look for in interns?
Personality, straight away.
Okay.
I can teach skills.
Mm-hmm.
I can develop skills. I look for personalities. I want to feel the energy, the electricity, and the passion inside somebody's body. I need to, when I feel that, the rest can come along easily. And again, it's not just, it's body language, it's the energy, is how we engage in conversation, the thinking outside the box, the challenging the status quo, the you know, the approach on life and design per se, you know, personality. That's the answer.
Okay. What advice do you have for first-time designer in their profession when getting clients to take you seriously? So basically paraphrasing her question,
be honest.
Okay.
Be honest. Talk to them based on your knowledge, on your facts, on your experience. Yeah, but I have a limited experience. What shall I tell them about it? Tell them what you know. Or prepare yourself, research before you meet and talk. And if they ask you a question, you don't have an answer, tell them you go back to them. Don't try to climb a wet mirror. You know, oh, yes, I heard of that designer. Yeah, what's it that one? Doesn't work.
Sure.
What the name again of the designer? Okay, let me find out and I'll come back to you. You know, this is how you need to talk to people. You need to be honest.
Okay.
Like when Farah mentioned to me Hassan Fatih, one of most famous Egyptian architect. I wasn't familiar with it, but I said, how do you spell it? Can I give you a name? Because I'm actually going to work on a project and I will research on it. And that's what I've done. You're not in the business to know everything. You need to be humble and honest. If you don't know, you don't know it. But again, that leads me to the next suggestion. You don't need to be good at everything. Not good enough. You need to be the best in one thing. Focus on what you think you're going to be the best at and go after it. That's how you're going to win. There's too many people out there that are good for so many things. Jacks of all trades. Be the best on something.
We have a question from Sarah. First, she's thanking you very much.
Hi, Sarah.
She's thanking you for the beneficial lecture. And she's saying, what is a key of a successful designer? What inspires you as a designer?
The key of a successful design is functionality. Don't design just for the sake of designing. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Make sure that what you design is functional.
Okay.
Make sure it fit for purpose. Unless you just do sculpture or, you know, creative design, not related to residential, commercial, or retail. Make sure that ergonomics is always in place.
Now Aisha's asking you how to deal with a creative block, sorry.
Hi, Aisha. This is a very good question. And I tell you why it's a good question. A few years ago, I had a creativity block. I was talking to a friend of mine that now is actually a coach of luxury sales and products and all that. And I was sitting with him at a restaurant and I said, Carlo, you know what? I'm going through a very tough time at the moment. I said, really, Matteo, what's happening? I said, I'm not inspired anymore. I don't feel I'm creative anymore. I don't think I'm in the right job anymore. Really? I said, why you say that? I said, back in the days, you know, I used to have that energy inside me, and, you know, I couldn't even finish to articulate my sentence because I had so many things to say about an idea, you know, that I was so excited about it. I would be dreaming at night about it. I will have to wake up and, you know, always my notebook on my table beside my bed because I have to write notes down. Insane. You know, it's not happening anymore. And he said to me, okay, tell me a little bit about your job. What are you doing at the moment? Are you still doing what you were doing when I met you, that you were, you know, creative manager for Harvey Nichols? You were designing everything yourself. You were, you know, go out in the market research. Oh, no. I said, Carlo, that's my role now changed. I'm actually vice president of creative services of the company. You know, I take care of different function. I develop, what do you have develop? Well, I brought our in-house production facility, our design team, procurement. I'm working on the online business, and I set up the photography studios and all that. You know, been recruiting photographer, retouchers. I said, right. And who gave you all this? I said, no one. I took the lead. I spoke to the CEO. I said, I can deliver the ONAS online platform and the photography studio and bring all these resources now, create our creative agency now. So you've done all that? I said, yes. I said, don't you think that is a massive creative job that you've done, that you came up with all these ideas and you executed? And I stopped for a second and said, yes, yeah, but no, but. So I'm talking creativity. It's not just taking a canvas, a brush, and some color and paint. Creativity is not just painting. Like people say, oh, you're creative. Are you a painter? Are you a photographer? Are you a sculptor? Doctors can be creative. A finance director can be creative. Anyone can be creative. So I realized that my creativity has changed, has developed, enlarged. So I was not that junior creative manager managing myself, bringing all the information all the time with a team of 2 or 3 people. I was actually now a vice president, handling a team of 110 people, creating a holistic approach to the overall design strategy, but with all the elements required as well. So today you are an architect, guys. Today you're an interior designer, a graphic designer, but tomorrow you want to have your own practice, your own firm. And if you develop that yourself, it doesn't mean that, oh, I haven't done my mock-up myself. I got somebody else doing it for me. It's still your creative job. It's still a way to be creative. It's just the function has changed, but creativity is always there.
Sure. How do you stay on track during the design process? So I think she means, how do you stay focused, not get...
I think, yeah, maybe focus, but I think track, it means also track with the project as well. So you know, that all the phases of the project is completed within the timeline. Again, you need to have the right people working with you, because you cannot afford to micromanage everyone. So when you're actually working with in a project, it's not a one-man show. You need a lot of assets to deliver your project. Make sure that the players in your orchestra are fine-tuned with you and they play the same song. So make sure you got the right caliber, the right people with you. So then you will work seamlessly. It will not face delays. Yes, you're gonna have hiccups because things might happen. But you know, when you have the right people, you can work in symbiosis with, without micromanaging them. So you can focus on your bits and everyone focus on their bits. This is how you're gonna lead and deliver without delays. But make sure you always have a plan B as well. That helps. Like if I have a delay, if that material is not delivered, if something breaks, you have a plan B. That's really important.
How to have that dynamism in styling different type of design?
Again, I go back to the question I just answered. Make sure you got the right people working with you and you have the right dynamism. So you are connected and you work with people even without talking to each other, because you can then all meet the same desire and you are connected with the same vision.
You're all working for the same goal.
Yes, but also you have the same taste, you have the same vision. You know, you need to make sure that you work with people that just need to look at each other to understand what's right and wrong. You know, same passion, you know, same directions.
Okay. Now is a question from Shireen. Who are you inspired from the world of art apart from Versace?
Versace. I'm inspired by everyone. Seriously, I am inspired by the coffee boy here in our office as well. You know, I can give you detail why the coffee boy. Well, you know what? I just walked this morning into our office and he played with the shoelaces. And you know what? It doesn't have a designer pair of shoes, but the way the quirkiness that he had on his laces grabbed my attention. And the laces can be piping that I'm gonna do on the ceiling. It can be an artwork and I'm gonna do on the wall. I'm gonna maybe do it in with ropes. I'm gonna do it maybe with big aluminum cables, you know. But anyone can inspire you. It's not because somebody's a designer or I need to research on that designer. Just keep your eyes open. Don't wear blinkers. Look around you. There's details in everything. The baker, how he bakes the cake and he put the decoration on it. That can be your signature on the wall. The pattern that is on the glass to give you a little bit of privacy, that can actually becomes a pattern that goes into a table design. Everything can inspire you. But then if you want to have a specific name or brand that inspires me, I'll tell you that Dover Street Market inspire me as a brand. They have designed beautiful stores in Ginza, Tokyo, in New York, and now also in London as well. I like Gentle Monster. It's a eyewear brand, and they do amazing concept stores as well, out of the ordinary. And I'm very much out of ordinary, and I live by, because I challenge anything. And to me, I challenge myself and my team with the unexpected, because when you create the unexpected, you create the wow factor where people will talk about it. So one of the things I like to do all the time is to, you know, yes, aesthetic and functionality is paramount. As I said, functionality needs to be there because it needs to work. But I challenge people to think unconventional. What does it mean? Take an object around you, look at it. Like I have a glass here in front of me. Is it designed to hold liquid and to pour liquid into your mouth, right? That's the conventional use of this object. What is the unconventional use of it? It can be used as a light shade. I can make a hole on the bottom of the glass, can put a cable, put a bulb, put it upside down. This become a lamp. This can become a vase. I put some soil inside and I can put a plant in there. I can use it to hold pens. It was not designed to hold pens, but it can function as a pen holder. Think about the design that you have around and what you can do with it. And I'm gonna leave you with an exercise now, but not to finish conversation, but to help you to become unconventional. Imagine that today is your birthday, and I give you as a gift a tennis racket. But guess what? You don't play tennis and you hate tennis. All right? What are you gonna do with it? You're not gonna throw it away because you know it's a gift from Matteo, and Matteo sometimes comes to the house and you might see the racket. So how can you use the racket but you don't play tennis with it? That is 100th way to use the racket without using to play tennis. You can use it as a decoration, decorative items, display item. You can put it in the ceiling in the kitchen, and with hooks, so you can hang pans in there. You can use it to clean your mattresses. You can use it if you want to go to the desert and walk on the dunes and not sink with your shoes. You can put it under your feet to walk faster on the sand. You can drain food in there. So think about always the unconventional things. Start from today, look around, see items that were designed for a certain purpose, challenge that purpose, come out with a different purpose.
Okay. I'm sure they're gonna all try it and they can tell us their feedback.
And I would love, Farah, I would love you to send me some picture of your students' unconventional way to use conventional items.
I'll send them through an email, don't worry.
And you know what? If you actually, if it's a great object, I'm going to introduce it on one of my store that I'm designing, and I will give credit to that student.
Beautiful. Then definitely we'll work on that.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, our students can do it. I can guarantee you.
Excellent.
We're just going to be a little bit faster with the upcoming questions because questions are coming on our way. Do you feel that luxury brands have any relationship to the local culture in the design, especially in the Middle East?
Yes, they do. A lot of brands are adapting to that, are collaborating with local partners. You see them on their store design, where they introduce Middle Eastern patterns as well, or in the product as well, where they design exclusive product as well.
Okay. This is a question from Linda. Where do you find inspiration?
Everywhere.
Yes, you answered that. Okay, now we move to Zainab. How do you design a big space without feeling overwhelmed by the size and having to use the same concept but without making it boring? Zainab felt the pressure.
Hi, Zainab. Good question. So it's interesting because I went from designing in a 15,000 square meters department stores to a 200 square meter store. And how can I put all my passion, all my information in one small place? Look, first of all, I go back to block planning. You can't fit everything in there. You can't make our 13,000 experience and services into 200 square meters. You will jeopardize the experiences. You need to ensure that the customer flow, the experience, the navigation, the circulation is optimal. So something's gonna give. You cannot have a barber and a beauty room, art galleries and all that, everything in one place in 200 square meters. You might have the arts in the walls without having the art galleries. So you might need to revisit and explore the space and trying to come up with a different way to do it. I'm not intimidated by bigger space. I love big space. I love design spacious places. I want people to walk into like galleries, not into stores where they need to navigate into tight corners and places full of rails or fixtures. So the better space that you can give, the better experience you will get. And in the retail design, that normally that we have some parameters that we need to respect in terms of circulation. There's a minimum size for priority aisles and minimal signs for secondary aisles as well to ensure navigation and great customer experience.
Okay. Linda again, how do you work cross-functionally with project managers and developers?
All right. So it's really important, like in an orchestra, there is one director. Mm-hmm. Make sure there's always one person to lead that, to take the decision, and to have a louder voice when decision is to be made. Don't have too many cooks in the kitchen because that will spoil the recipe, okay? Or, you know, you need to ensure that you have the relevant team members, you listen loud to their feedback. And again, no opinions. Remember what I said earlier on, facts and evidence. Get experts in their fields. You cannot be an expert on everything, remember, be the best of one. So you're the director, conductor, make sure you got the best musicians with you and hear from them. Let them lead, let them come up with ideas and let them work together. A project manager will also help to establish the rhythm and all that, but you need to be that voice that take the decision. And remember, even if you are the voice, you need to be able to listen to them. I just want to mention something that is really important in our industry as a creative people. You have two eyes, you have two ears, you have two nostrils, you have one mouth. Why is that? Look out more, listen more, talk less, okay? Let the other talk, but be vigilant and listen, okay?
Now it's Intidar. Do you have a specific style or your own theme to depend on in your designs?
Okay, Matteo has his own style, yes. But again, I'm not a private firm. I work for a company. So it depends on the brand that I design for, that I present. I need to wear the hat. So you wear a different hat for a different brand that you work for. My personal style, I like minimalism. I like minimalism. I like clean lines. I like spaces, simple material, but beautiful, elegant materials. And the disruption, I like it with art. So I'm a big fan of Jackson Pollock, for instance. And this is what I like, I will allow in terms of disruptive in my world. Everything needs to be clean. I'm very symmetrical as a designer. I like space and clean, but allow the accent of the Jackson Pollock style into my life as well.
Reed is asking you, I would like to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your positive energy. My question is, who's the main motivator in your career? Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, who motivates you?
My passion motivates me.
Okay.
My passion motivates me, but I cannot deny that I also be motivated by a couple of people that came across throughout my career. I wouldn't call them mentors, but they inspire me, and they made me notice that there's more out of the job that I'm doing today. There was much more that I could have contributed. But again, it's passion, the bottom of it.
Okay, so it's basically this hunger you have as well to feed your inner passion.
Yeah, I think you can feel it, right? When I talk, you can feel
Yes.
There's something in it. That beast that wants to come out. The beast is passion and energy.
True.
Actually, the energy comes from the passion. Because when you have passion, you create the energy. Energy comes from euphoria, right?
Yeah.
Euphoria, it's a chemical reaction of your body.
So, true. We have Riham. I don't have a question, but I enjoyed the meeting. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
We have another one from Aisha. How to design different type of design styles rather than to be retro or contemporary, for example.
How can you design different type of design? It's up to you. You know, if you don't want to design retro or contemporary, you explore what you feel more comfortable with. Again, if you're a freelance or you have your own firm, you decide the direction you want to take, and make sure it's always based on passion, because you will be successful. And then you're gonna have clients that come to you because they know your style and your design. But then if you work for a client, you need to understand what type of language they like as well. And again, we don't need to be stuck to the direction. There's plenty of direction you can select in design. You know, there's avant-garde, there's surrealism. There is many. There's deco. There's many type of art and design that you can introduce. Mid-century modern. It's something that I started to explore a year ago, and I didn't know that I could translate mid-century modern into retail design. Have a look, mid-century modern. You can translate that with a modern contemporary twist. It's very, very nice. Tom Ford was one of the designer to translate that mid-century modern.
Okay. Now we have Linda. And
again, hi Linda.
She's thanking you very much for this talk. It was an eye-opener. I enjoyed it. We have Amina. Thank you so much for your time. It was beneficial and I learned so much from you. Now we have another question. Isra, how can you tell between creativity or madness in design? If it's a new
idea. Say it again, sorry.
How can you tell between creativity or madness in design if it's a new idea? When do we stay confident or give up?
Wow. Creativity is fueled by madness. I'm just thinking of a passage of a book that I read. Jack Kerouac wrote On the Roads. It's a book back on the Beat Generations. Basically, it talks about madness, about how mad people, mad of living, mad of experiencing new things, inspire other people. So be mad and be passionate about what you do, because that's what fuel and you know support creativity. Madness is to try something that no one else has done, and if we will not try new things, we will not be pioneers on anything. We will not have brought men to the moon if we were not mad at certain points, or even Arab to Mars, like happened last couple of weeks ago. You know, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum says, impossible is possible. And you can prove it, but you need to be mad. But again, I go back to what I said earlier on, make sure that you don't talk the talk, but you can walk the walk. Have the information, have the fact, have the support to drive your crazy idea, and make sure they're functional, because the most beautiful things, you will ask, how did I get that? How did I manage to come up with something? It starts from somewhere. So nothing is crazy in art and design. You need to test it and see if it works. Stay hungry.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a beautiful question.
It is, and you know what? It takes more. It takes more than an answer.
Yeah.
You know, it's an open question that can be in a forum, and you can brainstorm about that.
It's more of a philosophy.
That's a subject that you should cover, Farah. But I'm gonna share with you Jack Kerouac passage of this book that will answer to our question, because I'm very passionate about the passage.
Okay, thank you. We're waiting for it.
Sure.
Now we have another question from Bayan. Thank you very much for your time, and we learned many thank you from you. Thank you again.
My pleasure.
We have from Joy. Thank you for the best motivation, sir. We have from Miss
Thank you, Joy.
I, the faculty member. Thank you very much for the interesting talk. And then we have Saliha. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. What's the best advice or tip you would give to a student pursuing architecture or interior design?
The best advice: keep your eyes open. Remember, 2 eyes and 1 mouth. So use your eyes a lot. Have the passion to lead you always on anything you do. And research. Research what has been done and see what you can add on. So you can explore a recipe and you can add your own twist, but make sure the end result is tasteful as well. In that case, functional.
Okay. We have from Huda. She's thanking you. Of course, she's thanking me. Thanks, Huda. And she's thanking
Thanks, Huda.
you. And she's asking for your social media account. It's tagged in our post. So you can check our latest post. You will find his account over there. We have from El Isra. Thank you so much for your time and share with us your experience. I want to ask how you started your journey on this field and how you faced the difficulties.
Okay.
She's getting us all the way back. She's still interested.
Sure, but I haven't mentioned why I got passionate on retail. So yeah. I give you a little insight on myself, a little secret. I used to have a girlfriend when I was 17 years old. Very sweet. We would meet to study after school. I was going to her house and I learned from her that she was a savvy collector of her mom's fashion magazine. She used to cut images of those fashion magazines, Tatler, Vogue, you name it. And she used to do mood boards or just collage, let's call it collage, and put it in her room, to decorate her room. So I love what she was doing and I started to do it as well. Obviously, I was very shy and embarrassed. I couldn't tell back then, a 17 years old boy, to my friends what I was doing, that I was collecting magazines and cutting pictures of a fashion magazine. But I took it to the next level. So first of all, I was not just cutting images of models with, beautiful photography or outfit. I was starting to create environments. So rooms, I will add in furniture, I will add in chairs, I would add in lighting. I was starting to do room sets with people inside. So storyboards. And that's how I started. Then I saw that I had passion in retail and design because I was starting putting things together. And then, as I said, 21 years old, left off to London, and that's when my career starts.
Interesting. That such a little moment inspired and changed your full life.
Indeed. And you know what? This is a secret that I share only with you guys, because I had a couple of other talks, but I never mentioned that 21. So it's not it's a secret, but the right question hit the right time. So that's why I share with you.
For your trust. I want to ask how you start. Okay. Can you please say the name of the book again? On the Road, right?
On the Road by Jack Kerouac.
Okay. We have Aisha. You have amazed and inspired me so much. Thank you for this amazing lecture.
Thank you. I wish I was there in person to meet you all and to look at you in your eyes as well, because you will feel also the energy that way.
Matteo, unfortunately, we have came to the end of this talk. We would personally like to thank you so much. I can see all our students thanked you, and me personally, we were honored with your talk with us, and it was full of beneficial information, and it was inspiring. Thanks again.
Thank you. It was my great pleasure. Thank you.
Sure it's not gonna be the last time.
Well, you know where to find me. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to all the students that attend to this session. I hope that this truly inspired them. And my last message is keep your passion alive and do not bend on that. Do not compromise on that. And good luck for your future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.